Global media reporting on the Black Lives Matter movement and protests influences public perceptions and has an overwhelmingly powerful effect on the scope of the movement as a whole. Acknowledgement. I am a white, cisgender male with European heritage. I acknowledge that I am subject to and speak from a definite position of privilege on multiple levels. So what is grassroots activism? Grassroots activism is a social and political movement which the people in a given community or area band together for a cause that they are passionate about. It is all about mobilizing a group of people and harnessing the power of that group of people for a desired outcome. This advocacy isn't sponsored or endorsed in the beginning by any organization other than the people, so it can be challenging to really get the intended point across. There are many examples of grassroots activism successes in political history, including the American Civil Rights Movement and the 1980s German peace movement. The rise of #Black Lives Matter on Twitter can be viewed as a modern civil rights movement in support of marginalized communities, although social media allows a broader audience to alter and manipulate the movement. The idea of manipulating the movement typically stems from non-black individuals participating in the movement without fully understanding intention. This is a concern because it may affirm the notion of unnecessary violence, etc. Technology has revolutionized the way by which humans interact by eliminating temporal and spatial boundaries, in turn allowing for political activism to hit its peak more than ever. Social media is very effective in combating the negative portrayals of Black Lives Matter protests on significantly conservative news outlets. The affordances of these new technologies encourage the spread of the Black Lives Matter hashtag and advocates for real action and change in the 21st century. Data emerging on Twitter occurring at the same time as the murder of Michael Brown, an 18-year-old black man shot to death by police officer Darren Wilson in the city of Ferguson, Missouri. Following the murder, #Black Lives Matter became the third most tweeted hashtag in Twitter's 10-year history. Despite this, data from the Pew Research Center uncovered that 52% of users had no knowledge of what the Black Lives Matter hashtag stood for. The report details the need for concentrated, traditional media formats to be diversified and more transparent to the times we are living in. Black Lives Matter protests are unfairly critiqued by global news outlets through the comparison of 21st century protests against the non-violent protest styles of the 1960s civil rights movement, coined as a deployment of public memory that delegitimizes the intentions of the movement. Negative global reporting on the movement influences public perceptions and has an overpowering effect on the scope of the movement as a whole. It is evident that manipulation of intentions and biased reporting has stigmatized the way non-people of color individuals view the movement globally. The media is a figurative whirlpool of politics and opinions, so diversification of ownership could possibly enhance the effects of the Black Lives Matter movement. A combination of both traditional and new age media formats play an important role in grassroots activism. The ongoing issue of racism is broadcasted transnationally, yet politics and privilege blind many from understanding the systemic implications of racism not only in the United States but worldwide. Black history worldwide needs to be educated and encouraged in order for individuals to understand the severity of ongoing racism. The Black Lives Matter movement shouldn't be understood as a riot. It is a civil rights movement that is being skewed by concentrated media outlets. Media ownership and diversification can lead to a greater understanding of the motives behind why Black Lives Matter and why they've always mattered.